Bro, hey, this brother needs no introduction. Man, is one of our morning radio peers right now. We currently broadcast at the same time. Ricky Smiley, welcome into the program, man. Thanks for stopping by and joining us this morning, man. Good to see you.
Man, thank you for having me, man. God is good all the time, bro. I really
Yeah,
appreciate the opportunity.
yeah, absolutely. And we were talking earlier. The last time I got a chance to share space with you, I was actually working on your TV show, the Ricky
Yeah.
Smiley Show, and it was with I was J. Anthony Brown's personal assistant. Then I turned into his acting coach. Then I turned into Roger Bob's punch up writer in between scenes.
Right.
You and I had a couple little occasions, off to the side. Should I do this? Should I do that? So
Yeah.
that was exciting for me, and it's one of my most significant TV credits to this date, because when I at the end of one of the shows on the screen it says Lamont King, J. Anthony Brown, acting coach, and so that was that's on the
Absolutely.
resume. You can't take
And
that.
it was important to have you, man. And
Yeah.
thank you for everything you did.
Yeah, yeah. Now, for my own self satisfaction, man, I've been waiting to ask you this question for years
Mhm.
and years and years. You and I off to the side, and I want to see if you remember this, and if you don't, I can completely understand. Off to the side, one time, you were asking me about how your performance was, how you were doing. Right? It was
Yeah.
you, myself, and maybe one other person in a corner doing in between scenes. And I
Mhm.
said, and if for those that remember, in the show you were playing yourself,
Yeah.
and you said, is it believable? What do I need to do? Da da da. And I told you, I said, yo, it's easier to be yourself than to play yourself.
Right.
And the next season, the show was gone, and it was a reality show, and the reality show did killer numbers. I mean, it really changed the game. So I want
Right.
to I want to know. My question is, did I make that happen? Did I facilitate that?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Man, when I tell you my little brain, so I don't even know how to. I think the reality show came because all of the kids was there. It was less expensive to
Yes,
shoot.
cheaper. It was cheaper.
Yeah, much,
Yeah,
much cheaper to
yeah,
shoot. And it was just a better idea.
yeah,
And it just kind of allowed you to be at home and work as opposed to being on the set and memorizing
yeah.
scripts, messing with this ADHD.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So well, that's fair enough. And
Yeah.
I heard your answer, and I'll allow it. I'll take it, and I'll still take claim
Okay.
to yeah. I'll claim that it was because of
Okay.
me. You
Yeah.
know what I
No,
mean?
I don't think it was because of you.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
probably was a budget. I
yeah,
don't know because
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know how all of that worked. That was my first time.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
but I'm it was a good experience for all of us. It was
Oh,
definitely a good
absolutely,
experience for me
absolutely,
because when you
absolutely.
get to do 3 episodes a week, man, that goes into your resume. That's a good training, good experience, and for all of us. So we grind. And then what's his name that passed away? He was there. David was there.
Oh
Um,
yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, man. So
Man,
we had some real good memories. That was a
yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. In the writers' room. So to that point though, staying there briefly, a reality show, having the cameras on you, having your family grow up in front of the character, in front of the camera, in front of America, having that much insight into your private life, your world. How much of a toll does that really take on somebody, on a family?
No, it didn't really take a toll on us. It was just work.
Yeah,
Everybody, the kids was glad to make some extra money. That kept them from having to work at Burger King.
yeah, yeah,
The only thing they have to do is show up, that put a little money in their pocket. They could buy their school clothes and buy them a little piece of car, yeah, a used car or whatever. And it put money in their bank account for college. It really wasn't a toll because my kids are used to working.
yeah.
And having them grow up in front of the cameras are the only bad effect they have on my youngest son is when grown black women decided they wanted to drag him on the internet about
Mm,
something he said when he was 13 years old. And
right.
grown women attacked him on the internet. Grown sisters, old enough to be his mother, went in on him like he was a grown man. And but outside of that, it was fine. It didn't have no bearing on it didn't mess up anything with them.
Yeah,
But that
yeah.
that affected him for years though.
Yeah,
Wow.
for years, really. And
Yeah.
how was he able to work through it?
He had to go to therapy. His whole personality and demeanor changed after grown women. I remember they was attacking him on the real
Oh,
to the point where Candy Burris had to defend him and defend me and defend us.
wow.
They just took it and ran with it. A kid now,
Yeah.
a kid that made a bad joke, freshman in high school, and made a bad joke and said something and that offended black women, and black women, instead of trying to make it a teachable moment for him, they attacked his character and everything else. That really happened. That's a true story.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's a different person to this day. And it started there.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
black women came to his defense, huh, Rick? I mean, in other words, I said black women came to his defense too, huh? I mean, in terms of
they
Candy
didn't come.
Burris.
No, they didn't. Yeah. Candy defended him.
Well, that's all I meant, because I was thinking about it because you know, with Sideshow coming out now, and with the book coming out, I saw you do a little bit over an hour, I think, with Candy Burris. I mean, look, first of all, I don't know when you sleep, because I saw you on the Today Show with Al Roker and Craig Melvin, and saw you talking with Candy, of course, and on your own show, grappling with this question, the question at the center of the new book. So I don't know when you sleep, but it was good to see you in conversation with Sister Candy. But I was fascinated, and Lamont, you know, we were talking about it earlier in the studio. You know, I think we're all of the age to remember Blue Magic. So when the first thing I thought when I saw the cover of the book before I started reading the book was Blue Magic, and damn, if that isn't in fact the inspiration for the book. Could you say something about that, man, as a point of entry for the conversation?
Talking about why I named the book Sideshow? Yeah. You know, the song is basically about a circus, people going to the circus to see the sad show. And the hook is let the sideshow begin. Hurry, step right on in. Can't afford to pass it by, but guaranteed to make you cry. See the man who's been crying for 1,000,000 years, so many tears. See the girl who collect broken hearts as souvenirs. It'll only cost you 50 cents to see what life has done to those like you and me. Yes. So let the sideshow begin. Hurry, step right. Like, that song is so deep, man. And basically, my job is to be funny. My job is to make people laugh. So imagine having to go on stage after your granddad who raised you funeral. I had to perform that night. I had just buried my granddad, and you know, it's deeper than that, because first of all, I had to do what my granddad would have wanted me to do. My granddad already gone in a better place, right? I had a show in Jackson, Mississippi that night. I got in my truck and I drove to Jackson, Mississippi, and I got my butt on stage like I was supposed to, because I'm the man that my granddad raised. I'm my granddad's grandson. And I'm doing what he would have done, because it ain't just about me. It's other people that's sick. It's other people that have also lost a granddad, lost a kid on oxygen, on dialysis, going through chemotherapy, coming to that show to see Ricky Smiley, Martin Lawrence, Ricky Smiley, P. Ray Davis, Rita Brent was the last thing that some of them was going to do. So to much is given, much is required. And who are you to cancel a show?
Yes, sir.
Who are you to cancel a show because you lost your 92-year-old grandfather? My grandfather would have told me, get your ass on the stage and go make your money, and then go home and cry later.
Facts. How's that as a black man? You know, it's funny. My father made transition, and I got up next morning, came down, taught my classes, and then went on to Nashville to get prepared for the funeral. But in that same vein, brothers are expected. We see our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles work every day of their life. So the idea that you wouldn't do it would be just like against the grain of everything you saw. So I mean, but even in that process, and I saw you talk to Craig Melvin and Al Roker about this. What kind of burden does that impose on a black man?
Yeah.
That whole idea that you can't cry. I mean, you know.
Well, the thing about it is, you do cry. And I'm encouraging men to cry. I'm encouraging you to go and get on your knees and let your toilet seat down and get you some tissue and cry like my granddaddy used to. I'm encouraging you to sit. I got a third step sitting right there that I sit on that third step and I release all the tears and cry until I get sick. I cry until I get dizzy. I cry until I have foam at the corner of my mouth and my nose is running and get it out of my system because crying is a good analogy for crying is popping that cap off of the pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let
Because
that
if you don't
steam out. Let that
release
steam out.
the steam, you're gonna explode.
Yeah.
You understand? And crying and talking about it and being vulnerable or whatever. And then go to work. Cry before you get to the stage and then cry when you get off stage. But don't hold it in. You know what I'm saying? I cried on the way to the show when I had to perform that night. And then I cried leaving the show. I found out my granddaddy died while Martin Lawrence was introducing me that night in New Orleans.
What?
So I got a phone call and said, hey, we just want you to know your granddad passed away. And Martin Lawrence said, coming to the stage, give it up for Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
When I found out my grandmama died, I was being introduced to go on 106 and Park with AJ and Free. But that was in 2004. I had to go and do that interview. And so, you know, when my son passed away, he died on the Sunday. That Wednesday, I was back on the radio. I don't want to lay in bed thinking about all of that stuff. So let me get on the radio because the blessing is my son lived to be 32. So it's a mother listening to the Ricky Smiley morning show who son died at the age of 15, 16, and 17. So you have a responsibility to much is given, much is required. Cry, get up, and go do your job and help people. Because remember, all of this stuff is only a test. God is watching us. See, we don't think it's a test when we're going through it, right?
Yeah.
We've been trained for all this. Our pastor's been telling us this, man, since from Sunday school to 11 o'clock service in Black church, that all of this is just a test, right? But God is looking at you and seeing how you're going to handle that situation. And God also give you double for your trouble. How do you handle yourself during the test? Are you going to give him the praise? Are you going to uplift his name? Are you going to let people know that there is a God? Are you going to trust God? Are you going to lean on God? God will carry you if he have to, right? And you're going to help others because it's not about you.
No.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so in your book, Sideshow, it has pieces that's kind of, you know, give you some guide work, some things that you can do to deal with loss, and you've dealt with loss and different levels of trauma at a base level, at a core level. Comedian Ricky Smiley dealing with loss. How do you stay funny? Where do you find the funny throughout dealing with this, coping with these losses?
Yeah, well, man, you have to put gas back in the tank. You still got to laugh. Everybody that's watching this podcast and watching this show right now, please realize, man, you got to go out here and make yourself happy. You got to watch these little videos, these little TikTok videos, these little real videos, these people cracking and jokes and roasting and wilding out and 85 South and Carlos Miller and DC Young Fly and Mike Epps. Whatever your like is, you're gonna have to go to a comedy club, get you a table and some wings, and enjoy yourself. Because with that, death takes all of the gas out of the tank. But what are you gonna do to put gas back in the tank to build yourself back up with some happiness? Go get a massage, go to a basketball game, go to a football game. What do you like to do? You got to continue to live because we got to always remember, what do our deceased loved ones want us to do while they are in a better place?
Indeed.
It's all about the perspective. What window are you going to look at? You got two windows. You got this one, my son, I'm sitting here looking at my son laying on a slab with no life in his body. Right? Here's the other window. My son is gone to a better place. My son wants me to continue to perform, enjoy life, have a good time, and continue to lead the family.
Yes.
You understand? That's important.
You all, and it's interesting listening to this conversation, and you all both make your living in part on the stage, and certainly just in communicating with people, have you found that this connecting with folk, because just about everything you've said today has either started with or anchored in other people, the sister who lost her son, the person who's going through something who they had to come anyway. So in that process, do you find some of this connection either transferring into the audience and that community that you're building literally second by second as performer? You too, Lamont. I'm just thinking about how y'all connect with this, and then them feeding you. So in other words, going on that stage and being in that loop, that back and forth, that connection, does that give you strength? Is that a form? I don't want to go so far as to say it could be a form of therapy, but I mean, how does that?
It is though.
No, it is. It definitely is.
It is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Go ahead. Please.
I don't know about you, but I sit down sometimes, man. When I get through performing, I did it in D.C. at the National Harbor. Bro, I sit down on the edge of that stage. I just take a seat on the edge of the stage and have a real conversation with the audience about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. When I was at the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio, man, I took that cordless mic and just walked through the audience, man, and touched people.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, y'all, the show is over. If you want to stay for the conversation, that's fine. If you have to go, I understand. But I'm feeling some kind of way right now. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I have seen people sit in the audience and cry out loud because they suffered a loss also. And my job is to communicate with them and connect with them and let them know it's going to be okay. Man, I did a show in D.C. about 3 weeks ago. And I was sharing. I sat on the edge of the stage and shared. I said, I'm gonna jump off the stage when the show over. If you want to come up and get a hug, you can. You know how many people walk up to me and told me that their kids died? And I had a lady walked up to me. She said, I'm gonna hug you and I'm gonna leave because I want you to know that I lost my only daughter. That was my only child. And that lady, I looked at that lady in the eye, and that lady hugged me so tight, and she said, I'm gonna leave before I start crying. I had some people walking up to me crying. And it was just a real personal and intimate moment. And that's what this book is all about, man, teaching you how, it's helping you, giving you tools that you're gonna need with grief. It's giving you some inspiration, it's giving you hope, it's helping you identify the angels that God sends through other people.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful, powerful page turner that you're not going to be able to put down. Once you read that introduction, you're going to be hooked on it. And I've been getting a lot of great response. People are making videos about the book.
That's awesome.
Posting. Yeah, so that's my take on that.
And to your point, some of the tools that they say the book has allows you, if you're dealing with grief, to feel seen and know you're not alone, to process your pain and manage resentment and grief, to invite God's strength into your weakness, and fourth, to find a way forward and move toward peace. The book is Sideshow. It's Ricky Smiley. It's available on Amazon. And amen. We appreciate you.
Black Tony. Because I heard you on the radio, man. My man boosted a couple of boxes from the Amazon, was selling for $10 a piece. He said he's gonna touch you in, man, for $2 on every 10. But is there? Do you sell through the website direct, or can we just go to Amazon? What's the best delivery system for you?
You can go to RickySmiley.com.
RickySmiley.com.
RickySmiley.com, or anywhere books are sold. Buy this book for somebody who is suffering from grief and loss. Is going to help you. There's a lot of tools in there, and you will not regret it. It's an easy read. It's written the way I speak. So you feel like you're talking to me. It's not like a book. This is how I speak. Like you talking to me right now. The book is written like how we chopping it up right now.
And did you voice the audio book too, or did they use
did.
AI? Oh, okay, no AI. It's all you. All right.
Hey, it is all me. I sat in the studio and shed real tears, and my voice cracking and breaking down, crying on that audio, so you can feel the emotions. Go ahead and order it now. It's gonna show you the beams coming through the clouds when you think it's all cloudy, but it's gonna help you identify the beams of light coming down through the clouds, and letting you recognize the angels that God had, and letting you know how real God is. And it's gonna encourage you to also go to therapy and get help. Why do we go to the hospital when we roll our ankle, but we won't go to the hospital when we mess up, when our mind is messed up from trauma of grief, from grief and loss?
That's
This
right.
is gonna be a great tool to help you, bro.
That's
You got to go and get the therapy.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yeah.
appreciate you. There it is. Ricky Smiley right here on the Urban View Morning Show with Dr. Greg Carr, Lamont King, back after a short break.